What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Bitchuation Room podcast live stream, the very last episode of 2021.
Merry Christmas!
I'm here with life partner Matt Lieb.
What's up? Merry Christmas, everybody out there on both YouTube and Twitch and Facebook
and podcasting.
And podcasts out there, everywhere you get them. What's up? Merry Christmas. Happy to be here.
Thank you for being here on Boxing Day, first day of Kwanzaa,
right.
etc. Thank you guys for being here. Make sure to hit the like button and the share button. Share it on all the platforms. What up, Twitch, as Matt said.
Yeah.
We got a good show for you guys today. You didn't think you were going to get a show day after Christmas, you know? What with all the boxes of Boxing Day?
What is Boxing Day?
I don't know. I think the Canadians invented it.
Do they hold
to just like stay relevant, you know?
Yeah, I know. The Canadians are always trying to stay relevant, trying to compete with America's Christmas. Well, you know what? You're not special, Canada. Just because you give everyone health care doesn't mean you get to have 2 Christmases. Greedy motherfuckers.
Just because you gave the world Justin Bieber. Take him back.
We're not interested.
But we have a really good show today. Journalist Arun Gupta is here, and good friend. He is here, gonna be with us for the hour. We also have a bonus episode right after this show for all the patrons. That's 15 extra minutes, all about Donald Trump being once again incredibly anti-Semitic and using Israel as a weapon against the Jews, which seems impossible, but he did it.
Oh, it's possible. He loves it. It's like his favorite thing to do. It's like blows people's minds with both pro-Israel and anti-Semitic comments combined.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to take a look at that for those 15 minutes and for the patrons. And if you're not a patron yet, you know you can go to patreon.com/Bitchuation Room to become one. $2, $5, $10 gets you a shout out during the fart song, as always.
Love that.
Thank you to everyone. You know, it's been almost a year of having the Patreon, and again, this show is not sponsored by anyone but you guys. It is ad-free, 100%. You just got to listen to me hawk all our wares every single week. So just thank you for people who've been able to do that. And if you haven't, it's a time to start right now. Why not? Get ready for 2022 and all the good bitching that's going to be happening on this show. All the amazing guests that we've brought you in the comics and the good stuff and all the hard work that I put into the show.
And everyone puts into the show, but also Francesca
mostly me.
It takes up her whole Sunday. Usually I'm golfing. It's like what I've gotten into on
Usually
Sundays.
I golf.
Well, actually, no, I started doing softball on Sundays. Really, Sundays are about me being me.
You just have...
It's really wonderful. I mean,
God, we don't have to get into what is the most essence of Matt is
me
3 screens on the couch.
Yeah.
In the middle of nachos. Yeah, that's the most.
And
that's
today,
the most Matt Lieb.
Today it was Christmas turkey leftovers, and it was the happiest I've been in forever, in the whole year, actually.
Since yesterday, the day before yesterday, which was also Christmas leftovers.
That's right. Yeah, there was 2. Well, no, the first
3 happiest days of your year.
2 days ago was not leftovers. It was the actual dinner.
Sure.
Then yesterday was leftovers, and today was more leftovers.
Amazing.
But I ate all the leftovers, and now I'm sad.
We're going to be getting into also a look back on the life of Archbishop Desmond Tutu, who just passed away today. And so I thought it was important to take a look at his legacy and talk a little bit about him. Also, something that Trump did that wasn't disgusting and awful and egregious. So that Stay tuned for sort of a very surprising heel turn from the former president and from our current president, a little bit of disrespect thrown his way on Christmas Eve. And finally, we're going to finish this all up with the highs and lows of the year 2021. What was your high? What was your low? If you're an addict, that's probably not a great question.
I mean, I could tell you my highs and lows. I'm an addict, but I'm sober, so everything's middles. When you're sober,
It's all
mids, baby.
But it's a good place to be.
Get those mids.
But before I jump into everything, I do want to also remind you guys that we're going to be drawing for the raffle, that merchandise raffle, at the very end of this show. So to the, I believe, 10 people who entered, you're the 10 hottest people on the face of the earth.
Yeah.
I don't care. That's what it is. I said it. For the rest of you, just thank you for supporting the show by buying some merchandise. Bitchuationroom.com. Get your tees, get your totes, get your stickers. Very, very cute, adorable. Get your Frantifa merch.
Thongs coming soon.
They're not coming soon.
You
never gonna happen. Do not want to see.
You should do thongs.
My listeners in thongs. Not that I did just say you were the sexiest people.
Yeah, but put your money where your mouth is, though. I want to see how sexy your listeners can get.
Will you stop?
I'm sorry. I'm done.
You know, there's like one or two stalkers who are like, "I'll show you."
I know, that's true. You guys are not allowed. All right.
Let me just get through these announcements.
Yes.
Finally, on Sunday, January 9th at 8:00, we'll be in San Francisco at Sketchfest with Alicia Garza and NATO Green. Get your tickets. Again, we're in the midst of Omicron, so I understand people are hesitant, but there will be Vax cards checked and masks worn throughout the entire show, except by the people on stage. But we will be very, very far from you. I mean, we'll have microphones and everything. So hopefully it'll be good. Then we'll take mask selfies afterwards. And yeah, I'm super excited for that live show. It's gonna
be fun.
Oh, it's gonna be so good.
It's gonna be so good.
Also, final announcement, if you aren't ready to be a patron, but you want to support this show, kick us a couple of bucks, you can do that on Venmo, TBR-Live, or Cash App, TBR Live. And thank you everyone who has given this show just a little something, a little Christmas bonus, if you will. And with that, let's get into what Matt and I are bitching about before I bring in our guest. This is, what are you bitching about? Matt Lieb, what are you bitching about today?
I'm bitching about movies, specifically length of movies. Is it illegal to make a fucking 90-minute movie now? Is it against the law? Is there a law that says movies must be 2 hours and 20 minutes long?
Yeah.
So long that you, number one, are gonna miss them because you're gonna go to the bathroom. Okay, there's no way you're gonna hold it for 2 hours and 20 minutes. And second of all, a movie's so long that it doesn't matter if you validate parking. You're still paying for parking. In my day, when I was little, you used to be able to go to a movie, done hour 25 minutes, you go straight to the parking lot. Guess what? Free parking.
And like only like aunties in their 70s had to go to the bathroom in the middle of a movie.
Right. Now, you know, it's everyone.
Like, now it's like you're insane if you don't have to pee at least once.
Seriously.
During that 2.5 hours.
And it's all superhero movies too. The real superheroes are the kids out there who are not taking a piss or shit while they're watching the movie.
I mean, so we did see Spider-Man No Way Home, and I felt that throughout the whole movie. I was like, how can I get home?
Yeah.
Because there's no way home out of this theater.
Yeah, just a giant freaking pig pen filled with piggies, just lapping up the slop.
Lapping up that Marvel slop.
Oh, there's 3 Spider-Mans. There are 3 of them. I love it. You know what? I don't give a shit. I'm sorry. I didn't like the movie, and I especially didn't like more Spider-Men. I get it. Let's do brand synergy all the time. I'll just make a movie about a guy doing a thing. Whatever happened to that? You know, I'm tired of these movies about multiple Spider-Mens.
You're stealing what I was going to bitch about.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because I was going to bitch about Spider-Man. But I will bitch about something more general.
Okay.
More sort of in totality that, like, this time, I guess, like, what I thought the end of the year 2021 would look like was not this.
Oh, yeah.
In any way. And maybe that's my own
optimism.
no, it's my optimism and stubbornness for wanting like actual change and accountability for, let's say, I don't know, the insurrection that opened this fucked up year. And not getting even that, although we're sort of circling around it, although we're just mostly just information gathering, and I don't think we're actually going to hold anyone accountable.
Yeah.
Beyond like a few, low level idiots who are now whatever complaining about bologna sandwiches in prison. But it's just like, I also didn't think we'd be here politically after Trump, with such little Democratic leadership, with just like the entire Democratic Party being,
useless and impotent,
the leadership having no understanding of the direness of this moment, still blaming things on Joe Manchin or blaming things on progressives or blaming anybody but taking up the fucking responsibility themselves, being handed this gift of like, Trump is not only an open fascist, but he fucked up the pandemic. Can you do better? And it's been like, yes, it is good that the vaccine continued to roll out, but in terms of politically and sort of like in terms of changing the entire paradigm that was ripe to be changed. It's like that. It's like the post-Bush years where it's like, where it's so ripe to have our minds changed about so many fundamental things that were wrong about this country. The Bush years did that to us, and 4 years of Trump plus the pandemic have done that to us. And you just got, we give you Georgia, Democratic voters, and then immigrants, people of color. And honestly, arguably, Biden has delivered the least when it comes to immigrants and Black Americans, just the least. We didn't abolish qualified immunity yet. We've only continued deportations. And not only that, just like there's no leadership. There's no, and we're going to talk about this a little bit later, but there's no, almost even in rhetoric. Like I am a sucker for like nice flowery language that sounds like you're moving in the right direction. We don't even have that shit, Yeah. So
I think we should have all taken it as a bad sign when the $2,000 checks became $1,400 checks. And they were like, well, technically, that's $2,000 total. That we should have been like, oh, fuck, they're going to screw us, aren't they?
I know.
They're not going to do it.
They're already going to backtrack on the small promises. But then again, I have like Ta-Nehisi Coates' words ringing in my ears, just like he went on Democracy Now! During the election and was like, he was trying to explain why Joe Biden was a terrible choice for America. And then he just goes, Joe Biden shouldn't be president.
Yeah.
Just like have his voice like, and Ta-Nehisi Coates is by no means like a lefty, But anyway, this is what we got. We're going to talk a little bit more about the president. But before we do, I want to bring in my next guest who has a lot to bitch about always, even though he is a foodie and knows where to eat in New York City and leads food tours of New York. He's also an investigative reporter. Please welcome Arun Gupta.
Hey. What
back in
don't
the saddle
I have
again.
to bitch about? Yes, back in the saddle again.
It's been, we were all together, the three of us, on election night.
Was that? I was trying to think.
Yeah.
When did we all do this together?
Yeah.
And then it was like what, 2 more weeks before we knew the results?
Yep.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And we had that brief moment of celebration where we went out on the streets and like our long national nightmare is over for 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, there was but what a 5.
Yeah, it was a good 5.
Yeah, then it's
I haven't had
Nightmare on 1600 Pennsylvania, 2, 3, 4. What are we up to now?
Oh, this is I don't know. 200 is every year there's a new one. How long has America been around? Too long.
Arun, what are you bitching about from the epicenter of the Omicron over there in New York?
Well, I'm officially a curmudgeon. So what aren't I bitching about? I'm bitching about Joe Manchin. I'm bitching about my knees. I'm bitching about Omicron. But I want to bitch about movies too. And but first of all, it's just like you never had to sit through Bollywood movies. My dad's idea of culture was taking us to Bollywood movies. That's how he ingrained in us Indian culture. And Bollywood movies are minimum 4 hours long.
Oh my
and
God.
the plots are always the same. It's boy meets girl, boy gets girl, boy loses girl, boy or girl and or everyone's family dies, because Hindus are obsessed with resurrection and death. And it was just like every movie's depressing. And they also break into song for no inexplicable reason about a dozen times.
It's like an American rom-com plus music, but then everyone dies also.
Yeah, because it's about, this veil of tears, and, his life is suffering, and, we have to be stoic, and you're going to die of cholera or dysentery or suddenly, somehow like a gallon of cooking oil is going to mysteriously be poured on you.
I feel like that must do something to a society. That must help though, because it's like an optimism, but cautious optimism. Pick yourself up when your entire family's been killed
by cooking oil, apparently.
Versus American movies are like everything's just gonna magically work out because love.
Yeah, everything you just said was exactly like every American movie, but then you added the fourth act of everyone dying from cooking oil, and was like, that is different. That's definitely different. Like everything else is Rodgers and Hammerstein, and then you just add the entire family dying, and sounds, I would say the Irish come close to that. Irish literature and is mostly everyone just dying. Sometimes there's love, but
at least they have whiskey.
That's true. They have whiskey. They do.
We don't have whiskey, though. I guess we have weed and opium, so.
Yeah, those are both good, too, though.
Did you have to sit there through the entire show? Like this is going out to a theater and seeing Bollywood?
Yes. Yeah. This was my dad's idea of culture. And we were like, why is it so long? It's like, because people expect value for the money, which is what I think explains the Hollywood thing. Because now you have to get a goddamn bank loan if you want to go to a movie.
Seriously. It's so expensive. And I do think part of it is the parking cabal. I think they want, it used to be free parking. It used to be 3 hours.
That is BS.
3 hours.
Yeah.
We get to a movie 5 minutes early. There's 30 minutes of commercial. I'm sorry, I'm done.
Just the most dad rant ever.
I'm just sick of it.
It's just God.
Have you been to one of these 4D movies where it rains on you and there's smoke and thunder and
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I want one with the smell, the smells and the
smell-o-vision.
Yeah. Exactly. What was that? Groove Tube or Kentucky Fried Movie?
A Kentucky Fried Movie. Yeah, okay. I do think that they have come close to smell-o-vision though with these new, what you're describing is like the Dolby experience or whatever, where they have when something is shaking on camera, the chair shakes too. It's I mean, I get that's nice, but
it's not the drugs.
No, that's a real thing, dude.
If Oscar Isaac is on screen and kissing somebody, I want
to feel
him to be kissing me in the theater as well.
That the future, honestly, is just all of the seats are pleasure bots.
All right, we're moving on to look at the stories of the week. Also, just generally, hope everyone had a good Christmas if you celebrate, and if you don't, I hope it was also wonderful. For no other reason than it was Saturday. And let's go into things did happen this week. An in-depth New York Times investigation has found that America's air wars overseas under Obama and ramped up under Trump have been vastly undercounting civilian deaths.
Shocking.
Which is a huge shame because up until this point, I really admired their work.
Yeah. I was like, wow, they're a very moral army.
Yeah.
I love what they've done with wedding parties.
Damn. That's very good.
Thousands of flights have been canceled around Christmas as Omicron spreads and infects airline workers, leaving us to wonder whether the miracle of COVID not spreading on flights might now be over, which means maybe Vax cards will finally be checked, which means we might finally get alcohol service back on the goddamn flight because Mama needs her turbulence tonic, okay?
She really does.
Biden got a new dog named Commander because
Great.
someone in the White House has to lead.
Oh, nice.
NASA launched a $10 billion Webb telescope into space so we might finally get images of a distant planet that actually spends $10 billion on eliminating hunger instead. Just incredible. And a new theory about the Capitol riots of January 6th says the National Guard wasn't called because the Secretary of Defense was afraid Trump would use it to take power. And that's based on testimony from the Secretary of Defense. So it's less of a theory and more what he fucking said. Oh my God. For everything else, this is the week where. All right. So this was the week where on Christmas Eve, the president, Joe Biden, and his wife, Jill Biden, decided to take live calls from families who were calling into what's known as the North American Aerospace Defense Command Santa Tracker, which follows the progresses of Santa's sleigh and teaches them about the surveillance state, obviously. Before saying goodbye, though, one caller from Oregon named Jared Schmeck decided to boldly tell the president one final thing. Take a listen.
That's right.
I hope you have a wonderful Christmas.
Well, yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas as well. Merry Christmas, and let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. I agree.
Okay. So that is Jared Schmeck saying, let's go, Brandon, to the president. And instead of understanding what that meant, Joe Biden just said, yep, let's go, Brandon.
Bless his heart.
Because I don't think anyone has explained to him that let's go, Brandon is the stupid right-wing
It's code.
Code for fuck Biden,
Mhm.
because they're so sly, and Lauren Boebert put it on the back of a dress.
Yeah.
So I don't know why he reacted like that. I mean, there's a number of reasons.
It's because he didn't know.
Yeah, well, okay, he's either old, which
Mhm.
yeah, he is old. I don't know, but clearly no one's told him
Uh-huh.
that this is what it means. And now, do you guys think that's a good thing, or is it
I mean,
something that can lead to this?
I think maybe he's owning it,
Yeah.
because he repeated it. He said, let's go, Brandon. And
Yeah.
it's just like you'd have to be pretty clueless, which
Mhm.
Biden might be,
absolutely.
to not have like read about it in the news.
Yes.
It's in the lamestream media, so
Yeah.
clearly he's read about it.
It's also one of those things where if anyone's like, hey, let's go blank, in order to be like cordial and nice, you'd be like, yeah, let's go, Brandon.
Yeah, I mean, I think he maybe heard about it once and then got distracted and bought a dog.
Yeah.
And so, like, he completely forgot about it. And he took this nice call that was actually nice for the majority of it. And it ends with a let's go, Brandon. And he's like, sure, let's go, Brandon, because he's a politician and he's just going to agree.
Okay, so you just said something that like is true. In fact, Jared Schmeck, who honestly is the most on-brand name, apparently the entire conversation was very nice. They
Right.
talked about what his kids wanted for Christmas,
Mhm.
What they were asking from Santa. And then he just throws in, let's go, Brandon.
Yeah.
Because I think he is a piece of schmeck. Let's hang on. Let's read. He says, you tell me what you think of him after I explain what he says he's done. He says, Schmeck says he's not a Trumper, but described himself as a free-thinking American and follower of Jesus Christ.
Mhm.
Schmeck called his remark a joke and a reflection of his frustration with Biden's policies, including the federal vaccine mandate, inflation, and global supply chain problems that have caused shortages in consumer products.
Mhm.
Okay, so you're not a Trumper. You just believe the things that Trumpers generally
You're just
say.
very on brand.
Right.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
people got mad at Schmeck, and so he was, so he defended himself. How do you think a guy like Schmeck would defend himself? Well, he said, I am now being attacked for utilizing my freedom of speech, adding that he's been receiving some vague but threatening phone calls since the Santa tracker call.
Are they from Santa?
Listen, motherfucker.
Yeah. You're naughty. You're a naughty boy. You're getting coal or not getting coal. One of the two.
So the snowflake has been triggered.
The snowflake has been triggered. I love people saying I'm being attacked for my freedom of speech, and the attacks are just other people exercising their freedom of speech. It's like being attacked for freedom of speech is something that a state does. A state penalizes you or criminalizes you for speech.
Right.
If people are just calling you a dickhead for doing something that they believe you're, a dickhead for doing, that's also freedom of speech. That's kind of how that works. But I don't think anyone should be, threatening anyone. I don't think anyone should be like, sending death threats or whatever. But if everyone else is just saying, "Hey, fuck you, Schmeck," freedom of speech, bro. That's how it works.
Oh,
fuck your feelings, Schmeck.
Fuck your feelings, Schmeck.
Fuck your feelings.
But Schmeck says he didn't mean anything by "Let's go, Brandon." He said, "I understand there's a vulgar meaning to 'Let's go, Brandon,' but I'm not that simple-minded."
Well,
no matter how I feel about him, the 35-year-old father said Christmas morning, "He seems like a cordial guy. There's no animosity or anything like that. It was just merely an innocent jest to also express my God-given right to express my frustrations in a joking manner. I love him just like I love any other brother or sister." What?
Brothers or sisters all the time have code words that mean "fuck you, brother or sister."
Yeah.
So, totally get it.
Did your brother just say "Let's go, Matt" a lot?
No, he just called me a bitch to my face and punched me a lot. He didn't really need a code word.
Yeah, it's a good code word for "fuck you."
A good code word for "fuck you" is a fist.
It's just, I think it's like this guy didn't know that many people were going to see him after being treated nicely by Biden. Look, I'm going to defend Biden a little bit. He was treated nicely. The president's answering questions and calls from little kids and their families, gives this guy a bunch of time, and then says, "Let's go, Brandon," probably just to see if he could get away with it.
Yeah.
And also, he probably doesn't like Biden, but now he's kind of backtracking on it and being like, first of all, number one, it was my freedom of speech. And second of all, I'm a really good guy. I love Jesus and Jesus loves me. Fuck you, dude. I want people to die because I don't believe in the vaccine, but I love Jesus. And I believe in telling the president to go fuck himself on Christmas Eve, but I love Jesus. Fuck you.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely like, it's a bitch move for sure. But I also look at it and I go like, this guy absolutely did not expect to get the president on the line. And once he had him, he was like, do I do it? Do I do it? I mean, we've all been, like in a position where we are faced with the ability to say something to the person we've always wanted to say.
I screamed Fuckerberg at Zuckerberg in Palo Alto once.
Yeah.
It was great.
So these things do happen, but there are consequences for it. And, that's right now the consequences is everyone knowing Smek is kind of a cunt.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, one of the things about this whole story, and I'm stealing this from the Twitter, that this is kind of a classic abuser situation. So you have someone who engages in abusive behavior. He then claims it's a joke. And then he's like, "Oh, I'm the real victim here."
Yes.
And then cycle repeats, right? How much more Trumpist can you get than that?
That's true.
100%. It's the victim complex complete, like, come full circle. How dare you get mad at me for saying fuck you? That's my freedom of speech.
You have to give like Biden credit. Like part of the, I think, benefit of let's say sort of the cognitive decline age is
not hearing anything,
is not really hearing anything as like an insult if it's coded. And so he gets to, I'm sure that someone was like, "Oh, Biden, did you know that that's a code for for fuck you? You just reiterated a code for fuck you." And he was probably like, "Haha, all right." And then he ate ice cream and lived his life. That's hell of a defense mechanism.
It's true.
Not
Senility.
Senility.
All of our parents do it all the time. I will say there's a couple of comments I wanted to read. Mr. Frosty on Twitch says, "I think he knows what it means, Biden. It was the best way to grab it and toss it away." Maybe.
Yeah, it's given, I think, him a lot of credit. I think I just don't. There's no way he heard it at some point, but he mostly was just doing a nice guy thing and being like, "Ha, let's go, Brandon."
Kate Gillette on YouTube says, "I think it would be hilarious if he starts saying 'Let's go, Brandon' himself." I do think so. I mean, I also saw someone recommend that he name his dog Brandon, which would have been great.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it was one of the things that Trump was really good at was poison pilling stuff that people were trying to like, make fun of him with. Like he would just adopt it and then everyone would just kind of stop using it because it was like, oh man, now everyone's chanting it at his rallies.
That's so true. He co-opted the shit out of it.
He co-opts
like
everything.
Fake news.
Like fake news, a perfect example. Like he co-opted that and made it, a whole other thing.
Yeah.
And so I feel
the
like
establishment.
Yeah, right.
He always talking about the swamp, all that crap.
He co-ops.
He took all of Bernie's stuff too. Everything Bernie said. As soon as Bernie was out in 2016, he was like, "Yep, thank you."
Exactly. Yeah, and of course didn't know what he was saying either. Also in cognitive decline. So it's just I think it's important to to co-opt and poison pill negative messages.
Anyway, I hope Joe Biden's fifis haven't been hurt, and I hope Schmeck
I think he's fine.
gets what is coming to him, whatever that is.
I mean, I think a week of people knowing his name and sending him dicks on the internet, and then moving on.
I hope he gets sent all the dicks.
Yeah.
Let's move on to our next story. This was the week where South African Anglican Archbishop, Nobel laureate, and leader in the anti-apartheid movement of the 70s and 80s, Desmond Tutu died at the age of 90. He consistently called for justice in South Africa, but also nonviolence. And when the apartheid regime did finally fall, he was appointed by President Nelson Mandela, to lead the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, saying that a wound can't heal unless it is cleaned. And that was the idea of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, was to actually look back at the crimes of the apartheid regime and also come to terms with them and heal from them. Here he is just sort of explaining his role in the anti-apartheid movement, what it was like then, and what it was like under apartheid itself. And forgive the music on top of this. I didn't do it, and I didn't know how to remove it.
You had these separate exits, but then you went onto the same street, and you breathed the same air, and it was crazy. But a lot of it was humiliating. Very many good things have happened. I mean, one is we're free. It was quite unbelievable how quickly it happened. I mean, it was, as they sometimes say, like greased lightning. I mean, one day Nelson Mandela is in jail, the next he is out. Then you have negotiations, and hey presto, we have a democracy.
But I and the ANC are as opposed to black domination as we are to white domination.
Imagine if we had chosen the path of retribution and revenge. Our country would have been dust and ashes now. When you nurse a grudge, your blood pressure shoots up and you feel it in your tum-tum. Whereas when you forgive, your blood pressure goes down and you have a physical well-being that reflects your spiritual well-being. So that you can say forgiving is good for your health.
You feel it in your tum-tum.
Tum-tum.
So
and
adorable.
grease lightning.
Grease lightning, presto. I mean, that's the other thing about Desmond Tutu. I've seen him speak a few times. I think once in New York in person, and like his humor is so apparent, and his like infectious laugh and his smile. It's like he's always smiling. You're like,
yeah.
This was someone who fought against apartheid and saw the ugliest side lived in it, saw the ugliest side of humanity. And has that
sense of humor and that sensibility. Yeah. No, he was a sweet man who was against apartheid everywhere, which I think made him very special, in my opinion.
Yeah, he spoke out up until even recently. He talked about like vaccine apartheid under COVID. He was talking about climate change. He's got this great quote where he's like speaking to a bunch of students in Copenhagen, and he's like, if we don't do something about climate change, woo boy. And he's like, so hilarious. He also spoke out against the Iraq War, which is, I believe, around the time I saw him. And I was like, oh my God, there's like a living legend. Like, holy shit, you know, he's done so much in his life. And he did a number of things against the war. He refused to share a stage with Tony Blair. He spoke out at the large anti-war demo on February 15th in New York. And as recently as 2012, he was saying things like this: Bush, Blair should face trial for the Iraq War.
Yeah.
Which is like insane. And I wanted to read more about Tutu and what his comments then. He's like, those responsible for this suffering and loss of life should be treading the same path as some of their African and Asian peers who have been made to answer for their actions in The Hague, sort of calling out that, like, you know, the racism embedded in, if you're a warmonger from the West, you get off.
Yeah. And the hypocrisy and racism in the International Criminal Court.
Yeah. He says leadership and morality are indivisible. Good leaders are the custodians of morality. The question isn't whether Saddam Hussein was good or bad or how many of his people he massacred. The point is that Bush and Blair should not have allowed themselves to stoop to his immoral level. If it is acceptable for leaders to take drastic action on the basis of a lie without acknowledgement or an apology when they are found out, what should we teach our children?
And I want to emphasize that point about Israel. You know, he, in fact, I believe, said that Israeli apartheid was worse than South African apartheid, and he called for a global boycott of Israel. So, you know, when we hear any like American politician praising him, remember that they probably had a hand in trying to make the BDS movement, boycott, divestment, sanctions, illegal.
Yeah.
So, you know, he was very much just a categorical critic of injustice and really for justice.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of like just obviously a spiritual leader, since he's an archbishop and studied theology, apparently based on like the first priest who actually like shook his mother or father's hand, I believe, but he was a white priest, and it was like the first time a white South African treated his family with respect. And so that made him turn to theology, because he was like, this is greater obviously than race. And I've never, I hadn't had that experience. Yeah. Speaking of Israel, he was so much in solidarity and against the occupation of Palestine that he visited East Jerusalem in 2015, as recently as 2015, with former President Jimmy Carter. And here is what he had to say.
Love that dude. Love that dude.
I actually have something I want to bitch about in terms, not about Desmond Tutu, but in terms of how he's understood.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. He won the Nobel Peace Prize, right? But people don't understand the history of South Africa or don't understand who he was. You know, these great spiritual leaders like Gandhi, like Martin Luther King, like Desmond Tutu were also brilliant political strategists. So Desmond Tutu was a leader of the United Democratic Front, which was a nonviolent movement in the 1980s. But it was basically the public face of the ANC.
Right.
And the ANC had a military wing, Spear of the Nation, Umkhonto we Sizwe, that was carrying out guerrilla attacks. They were killing South African military and police. They were blowing up facilities, including oil facilities. There was a war going on. And the thing is, it's never about nonviolence or violence in terms of overthrowing an oppressive regime. It's both. And he was smart enough to understand that he had the moral standing to be the leader of the nonviolent movement, but he was in alliance with the ANC that was leading an armed struggle against this racist fascist state.
Yes, absolutely. And that always gets taken out of, I mean, and you even mentioned Gandhi, like the people who were working and allied with Gandhi were ready to take violence. I mean, to do violence.
But there was lots of violence.
Yeah.
The Indian National Army, thousands of British were killed. That gets left out of the equation. And, you know, Martin Luther King was kind of clear he had this loose alliance with Malcolm X. You know, so it's never about one or the other.
Totally.
Yeah. And whenever someone tries to make it a binary choice, oh, well, these people would get their freedom if they would just distance themselves from the violence.
Yes.
Trust that person is upholding the status quo. That's what they're trying to do through their rhetoric, is just uphold the status quo, blame people for their own oppression by saying, well, if only you would distance yourself from the people doing violence, since you're not. I don't care if you're nonviolent, you will still continue to be oppressed.
If only your resistance to this incredible violence were nonviolent.
Yeah, exactly. If
you
only
would achieve everything.
Yeah, if only you would resist by the specific means laid out to you by your oppressors.
Yeah,
Right.
that'd be great.
Yeah.
If you could just do that. No, and it's interesting though, because in a lot of the, there's instances where he intervened in, violent action, and that gets held up. And I think that in some way, it's safer characters like Desmond Tutu who allow movements to be massive, right?
Yeah.
And it's not always bad, but it is important, like you're saying, Arun, to not whitewash the militancy that was always there and did in fact help to turn the tide in South Africa. Just one of the struggles that needs to be studied forever and ever and ever by leftists and progressives, and just and is endlessly fascinating. And then my brain was blown when, Naomi Klein's shock doctrine came out, and you realize that the ANC economically was strapped with all these awful free trade deals and kind of, austerity politics. And they got completely, while they're trying to birth a new nation that is a democracy and desegregated, that they're getting hammered by, finance and international capital. So if you guys haven't actually read that book, you have to. It's one of the Naomi Klein's best. Anyway, R.I.P. Desmond Tutu, and thank you for all of your work. And if only we could all be just a little bit like him, that'd be awesome. Speaking of someone who's completely not like the Archbishop Desmond Tutu, not even a
close
fingernail,
second, not
or
a close second,
not a hangnail of this person. Let's talk about Donald Trump.
Oh yeah, I guess I see what you're saying.
So this was the week where we know that someone's been switching up Trump's meds, or changing his diaper on time, or maybe just the hands of this broken clock are set to Christmas, December. But Trump is starting to make more sense, which is very upsetting. He's starting to especially aggressively push back on any anti-vax ideology and sentiment within his own base. So first, he was at an event with Bill O'Reilly. The two of them obviously are doing this tour together. It's like that movie Space Cowboys, but for rapists. And Trump was booed for speaking positively of the vaccine, to which he took some offense. Take a look.
Both the president and I are vaxxed, and did you get the booster?
Yes.
I got it too. Okay, so
Don't. No. That's all. It's a very tiny group of it.
No.
A very tiny group, and we're taking names.
Yeah, exactly. Don't boo me. I'll say something racist later. You piggies will lap it up.
I really wish he could have reprised the "throw him out, get him out." Okay, so this was he got so mad. He apparently was very upset that he got booed.
It's wild to me, because it's at this point you'd think he would know that what his base wants to hear is all anti-vax all the time. That's all they want to hear. Yeah. And of course, which is something that he did to his base. He made his base skeptical of even the existence of coronavirus. Yes. If not, just made him skeptical of how deadly it was. He actively did this because he was president and he didn't want to be blamed for it.
It's a hoax.
It's a hoax. It's a Democratic hoax.
The China virus, the Chinese flu,
the China virus, all that shit. And so for him now to be why are people booing me when I say I'm vaccinated is isn't that the whole reaping sowing thing?
I think it's just narcissism. You know, that he's responsible for Operation Warp Speed,
Mhm.
and you know, Jared didn't fuck it up like he fucked up everything else, and so he wants credit for it. And the thing about Trump is he craves mainstream approval, right?
Yeah.
And this
Right.
is
As
the
much as he
only
says he hates it.
well, of course, you know, it's like the little kid who's doesn't want the parents' approval and is always then trying tricks to get it.
Right, exactly.
You know, but he wants credit, and I think ultimately his ego overrides everything. You know, I mean, like, I tend to be a structuralist, but with Trump, it's really about his goddamn ego. There's no bigger structure in the world.
Yeah,
It's quite a structure. It's definitely you're so right. And it's also him not campaigning. I also think maybe his brain is like just like a little less swollen from, you know, just he's not in campaign mode. He's not stressed. So there's a little bit more breathing room there. So even I swear to God, even if it's about ego, he knew he was responsible for Operation Warp Speed when he was running for re-election. He fucking didn't tout the vaccine or why people should get it, right? Like, I mean, he was sort of, when did it roll out? I guess it didn't roll out until later in the year. So I guess he wasn't really in a position to sing its praises quite yet. So maybe I'm wrong on this, but it's an interesting like development, let's say. And it continued during the week because Trump was interviewed by Candace Owens, you know, the notorious grifter who I am certain is a Banksy long con. She hosted the Daily Callers podcast, and Trump himself was her interview guest, and he was very much on one about a number of topics. Just take a look at this.
Vaccine is one of the greatest achievements of mankind. And I came up with a vaccine, with 3 vaccines. All are very, very good. Came up with 3 of them in less than 9 months. It was supposed to take 5 to 12 years.
And yet more people have died under COVID this year, by the way, under Joe Biden, than under you. And more people took the vaccine this year. So people are questioning how...
Well, no, the vaccine worked, but some people aren't taking it. The ones that get very sick and go to the hospital are the ones that don't take the vaccine. But it's still their choice. And if you take the vaccine, you're protected. Look, the results of the vaccine are very good. And if you do get it, it's a very minor form. People aren't dying when they take the vaccine.
What about the masking of children? That's a big one for moms right now.
I think it's a terrible thing. I don't like to see the kids with the masks on. They're sitting in school. They have a hard enough time sitting in school.
Looks like China. I've been to China.
Well, and yet China's education system's a hell of a lot better than ours. You know what? They're rated number 2 or 3, and we're rated number 44.
But masking children, I mean,
no, it's bad.
The way it looks, right? It doesn't look like a free country.
I'm against it.
Wow. When you're right, you're right. This is totally that meme on Twitter. Worst guy you know says something that is correct, you know, or whatever the fuck. It's like it is. That's 2 things that he was.
I mean, you know, is he trying to suck up to she, or is there like, you know, oh no, you know what it is? It's the China is behind his SPAC for his social media company, right?
Really? For what was it? Truth Social?
Yeah, whatever the hell. But apparently it's China money. So, you know, and I don't know what China money is. You know?
Well, then, I mean, that makes sense. Like Steve Bannon is like big on China money as well. Like that. Oh, that's really.
I'm
funny.
big on China money. Will that get me some?
We're all big on.
Love some China money,
dude. If that's what it takes to just get money, I'm big on China money.
Let's get some China money, dude. I've been trying to
start my own social media platform for a long time.
I've been trying to get that China money, dude.
It's just amazing to me to see Candace Owens like trying to corner him on something around the vaccine. And so this is not the first time. She's interrupted him twice in just that clip I showed you. Earlier in the interview, she interrupts him again because she sort of sees that he's going to go down the vaccines are real.
Yeah. Trying to keep him on brand.
And she's trying to keep him on brand. And and he doesn't. And then he starts going off about the American education system being terrible. Like, what's happened?
All correct stuff. It's funny, too, because you see him also with the vaccine stuff kind of like wavering. He's trying to appeal to both, and he's going to end up appealing to neither, which, like, for me, I'm like, oh, shit, we might we might get lucky and not have Trump 2024.
No, but that's exactly right. This is what someone replied to me on Twitter saying he's going to be reelected. No,
I mean,
no, because fucking, I don't know. Maybe there's like 5 people who once Trump believed in the vaccine. I don't know. Those 5 people might matter, but I think the vast majority of his base will completely turn on him if he's pro-vax.
I think to me, it's more a sign of things to come. Like the idea that he is, because there was a time in which he like called the shots in terms of any narrative. He called the shots. Like whatever he said was, that was it. That was the correct thing.
Right.
And now he's kind of like created this like anti-vax monster,
yep.
This COVID is a conspiracy monster. And like because he wants simultaneously wants credit for all the vaccines and he wants the freedom crowd.
Yeah.
Freedom, do whatever you want. He might end up he's not
but
gonna
the
get
freedom
shit.
crowd is it's like a slippery slope between, they're the same crowd. I don't believe in mandates. I don't believe in the vaccine.
Right.
It's the same shit. You say you don't believe in mandates just to try to get out of taking the fucking vaccine.
Right. But he's not going to gain anybody who is like, oh yay, he's pro-vaccine. Like no one's going to vote for him because he's pro-vaccine. So
yeah, but they'll all overlook that. I mean, he's going to be like, he can be a brain damaged turnip by 2024, and his base will just be like, they don't care about the vaccine thing. He'll be like, Joe Biden or Kamala is going to lock you up in concentration camps and give you gender reassignment surgery and take your guns away and have Mexicans make love to your Ford Bronco Ranger or whatever.
Right. I guess, and force feed you tacos.
All I'm saying is that because he is sticking with this pro-vax line, which is, I think his responsibility, he should be doing it, but because he's sticking with it, it's showing like a little slip in kind of his, his ability to be like his political savviness. The fact that he's not just giving the piggies what they want, like that's been his whole thing, is giving them what they want. The fact that he's not doing that,
that's what I'm saying. Someone switched up his meds, but I do agree with you. I'm caught between your two opinions, which is it won't matter. They'll vote for him no matter what, and this could be the thing that undoes it. It's very funny. We talked about the moral leadership of Desmond Tutu, but because we haven't even talked about the morality. And Matt, you're right. The morality is good. You should be encouraging people, even though you simultaneously say children shouldn't be masked because they don't spread it bullshit, you simultaneously take credit for making all of that.
I'm gonna make a prediction that at some point Trump's gonna be like, no one even knew what vaccines were before I talked about them. They're saying that no one even knew there were things called vaccines.
He's so mad that Biden gets to take credit for this, even though Biden won't even take the credit that is there. But even though Biden fucking gave him credit on a national stage just days ago, saying that this is thanks to Trump. Motherfucker, this guy badmouths you left and right. This guy hates you. His base hates you, and you're gonna give him credit. Okay, but Candace Owens has something to say, because she as Arun has predicted, is defending Lord and Savior. There's a reason Trump said all that. She said on social media, people oftentimes forget that, like, how old Trump is. She said he comes from a generation. I've seen a lot of people who are older have the same perspective. Like, they came from a time before TV, before internet, before being able to conduct independent research, just like a time before vaccines. And everything they read to them was in a newspaper that was pitched to them, and they believed that that was a reality.
Wow. I love it, because that's not defending him though. That's great. That is him going, that's her going, he's just really old and doesn't understand that Facebook exists now and tells us what to think.
And meanwhile, every one of us has like an 82-year-old uncle who's like, the Earth's hollow and JFK is coming back.
Yes.
Yeah, there are people straight up drinking chlorine in Dallas right now.
Right.
Yeah.
They believe JFK Jr. is going to come back. So that's one excuse. And you're right, it's not that favorable, but it is very like, oh, he's just Pop's old, but he's I think she's going to still defend him.
Of course.
Then you've got what Matt was saying, which is someone who is turning on former President Donald Trump, and that is Mr. Alex Jones.
Yes. Is an emergency Christmas Day warning to President Trump. You are either completely ignorant about the so-called vaccine gene therapy that you helped ram through with Operation Warp Speed, or you're one of the most evil men who has ever lived to push this toxic poison on the public and to attack your constituents when they simply try to save their lives and the lives of others. We're about to lay out the basic, incontrovertible facts that what you told Candace Owens just a few days ago is nothing but a raft of dirty lies.
And yet more people have.
I loved it with all the Christmas shit around too.
This is
an emergency.
A Christmas emergency broadcast.
We're grounding Santa. We're grounding the reindeers.
Wait,
F-16s are flying through the sky right now.
Did you see the Czech Air Force shot Santa down?
What?
Excuse me?
And that they released, apparently, it must be true because it was on the Twitters. There's some video circulating of the Czech Air Force shooting down Santa because it's baby Jesus that gives the gifts, not Santa. And so it's this whole elaborate video. These pilots scrambling and launching missiles and the sled exploding.
Kind of to save Christmas for Jesus?
Yes.
Save it from Santa?
Yes.
Damn.
Honestly,
because we know Santa is a transliteration away from Satan.
That is so true, dude. That is actually, that's hella true. People don't think about that. But Santa is just Satan. And honestly, it is in the same clothing.
In the same clothing.
Because it's all red.
I know.
He's got a list of children like Satan does. He's given people like presents, making them materialist, temptation.
Yeah.
And that's not milk he's drinking; it's adrenochrome.
That's straight.
Adrenochrome.
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 Yeah.
I just love these two different reactions to Trump's newfound. We'll see who breaks first. We'll see if Trump breaks first from his I need to take credit for this. I mean, / keep everybody safe, but I don't give a shit about you. Keeping you safe. I need to take credit. Or if the base will have the last laugh.
I mean, honestly, it's going to be interesting. I think the base will break first before Trump does.
Maybe. I mean, we could all be fucking safer and stop this. I'm sorry. I'm so mad.
No, it would be nice.
There's still only 62% of Americans have been vaccinated. Like what the data has not shifted. It's been 60% for like 4 months now.
Yeah, but
I don't know. I figured maybe give cops vaccine guns and tell them everyone's black.
Yeah, that might actually work.
Or we'll give them special glasses where everyone looks black.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like they already have those glasses.
Yeah, it's called being white.
It's called the badge.
Yeah, it's called the badge.
All right, you guys, we gotta move on.
We want them to shoot lots of white people too.
No, yeah, of course.
Sure,
vaccine guns.
Oh, that's a good point. No, I got it.
Yeah.
Sci-fi.
Playing with a drawer right now?
Oh, sorry, I was playing with a drawer.
Okay.
That's right. It lives. They live.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to some comments. Captain Pollywog Vanderbeef, thank you so much for the super chat. That's so sweet of you. Writing, Biden needs to get on signing those executive orders or student loan debt. Cough, cough, cough. Yeah, he doesn't even need to sign the executive orders in order to get some of this stuff done. By the way, everyone now is saying Santifa, which I love. Hashtag Santifa.
Hashtag Santifa.
The Frantifa is down with Santifa. Santifa gives you all the best gifts.
I like the beard is a mask.
It's like, I don't know. What are Santifa's gifts? Like a bunch of like lefty biographies.
Yeah.
I think
Molotov
hammers.
Cocktails.
Yeah,
Hammers.
it's everything. All of AK presses.
Yeah.
Those pallets of bricks.
Yeah.
Burning up everywhere.
Yeah, they just laid around just in case something goes off.
And tamales.
That's Santifa.
And lots of tamales.
Yummy.
Roller Dragon, very on Brandon. Very true.
On Brandon.
It was on brand for him to not understand. Let's go, Brandon. Which, honest, I just want that to go away. Can we just? I don't want the "Let's go, Brandon" thing to be a thing. Just shh. Maybe it's good that Biden didn't realize it was a thing.
Yeah.
Gregory118 on Twitch says the hypocrisy is staggering. I think on the Tutu discussion of Desmond Tutu in terms of probably referring to the Iraq War and the way that yes, African and Asian war criminals are actually held accountable versus Blair and Bush never held accountable.
Right.
Unprovoked Violence on YouTube says, we are all one humanity. Let's just party. Hell yeah. I think that's what Desmond Tutu is basically saying.
Yeah.
On Trump, Fat Guy Named Tiny on YouTube says, a broken clock is right twice a day or like once a year.
Yeah. It's a Christmas present.
Total Christmas present.
Yeah.
And thank you guys so much once again for giving some cash on Patreon, on TBR Live and TBR-Live on Venmo. We got to get into our final segment. Looking back on the year, just a little rappy poo of everything that happened. So much happened.
Love a
and
rappy poo.
This was simultaneously the slowest and yet the fastest year ever.
I know.
The first 2 months were slow, and then the rest of it, I think maybe as soon as those fools stormed the Capitol, the entire year was just on like speed, just complete like fast forward.
Yeah.
Or the Bud Light putsch, as I like to call it.
Yeah.
the what'd you say? The Bud Light putsch?
Yeah.
The Bud Light putsch.
It's very good.
That's amazing. So this is, what were your highs and lows? I'm gonna name some stuff. You tell me whether it was your high or low, and anything else you want to add. So looking back on 2021, our last show of the year, let's talk about what were the highs and lows of this year. I'll name something. You tell me if it was a high or low or like pass or neither or whatever you guys want.
Sure.
Add your own if you'd like. Rush Limbaugh dying.
Oh, that was a high.
Oh, awesome. Real high.
That was so great.
High as Everest.
Ooh, so high.
Yeah.
I remember where I was.
Yeah.
It's like that fool finally, his throat cancer ate him alive.
Oh, so good.
Let's see. The Delta variant.
That was a mid for me. Like it was bad, but I was like, nah, it's not so bad.
I want to say low, but we've kind of outdone it.
That's what I'm saying.
Now we're lower than that. Maybe, but I think it was pretty low because it was just when everyone was supposed to maybe get vaccinated.
True.
And I don't think we were even vaccinated yet.
No,
we were. It was the summer.
Yeah. It was over the summer.
Okay,
when
it was right.
And because we had that nice 1 month summer where
that's right.
COVID was over.
The shortest hot girl summer.
Yeah.
It's our summer of freedom. You know.
Yeah.
Brilliant marketing campaign by Biden. Yeah.
Yeah. Summer of freedom.
But we didn't even make it to July 4th.
We did not. No, we didn't.
All right. Delta is a low. Matt Gaetz getting into hot water for hiring 17-year-olds for sex via Venmo.
I would call that a high, but what's happened with that?
Not much yet.
I know. How's he still walking around free?
Still coming down the pike. It is happening.
Is it?
I believe it is happening. His homeboy who is part of the scheme has definitely
turned on him a while ago.
The best part of this story from the year is that Matt Gaetz wrote a letter to outgoing Trump being like, please pardon me and my friend for hiring, for paying teens to party with us because we're very cool. Like
for doing some sort of thing called child sex trafficking.
And having Bitcoin mining rigs in the government's office that blows out like the local electrical grid.
I mean, just
did he do that too?
The friend,
the friend did. The Florida guy. the most Florida guy thing in the world.
Florida man ever.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say something, and you guys are copyrighted, right? Because we're going to sue anyone if they steal this. But how is there not like a streaming show based on Matt Gaetz already? I mean, it would be like, it's 10 times worse and more hilarious than House of Cards.
Yeah.
I was just going to give another high or low, but the show Succession was my high, and I feel like Matt Gaetz is like a character from Succession.
Just
like the douchiest, dumbest, like silver spoon idiot who's like, you can't, you should probably stop paying those girls. Why are you hanging out at high school?
Why are you Venmoing for crimes?
Wait, who's the guy on Veep? It's like, was it Jonah?
It's very Jonah.
Very Jonah.
Yes.
The most Jonah.
And I'm going to say like Succession's a low because I don't want to wait another goddamn year for episodes.
That's how I feel.
I know.
That's how I feel. I'm like, the fact that I have to wait a year, I'm like, this is fucking egregious.
I really fucked up and actually did something I never do, which is watch a whole show just like till the end of it, until I'm all caught up. I never get caught up. I like didn't watch Game of Thrones for like 2 years after it was done.
Yeah.
And so now I'm screwed. So I'm watching like I'm a fiend. I'm like, is there a new interview with one of the cast members? Like,
Yeah, she keeps trying to show me clips of interviews, and I'm like, I don't love the show that much.
I was so upset. Let's see. Bernie Sanders pictured in mittens folding his hands at the inauguration of.
That was a low for me.
Really?
I mean,
it was a high.
Yeah, it was cute, but it was, for me, it was like
salt in the wound.
Salt in the wound. That guy should be president.
I feel like that's girl boss. If girl boss is a 78-year-old Jew from Brooklyn.
That is the most girl boss, is a 78-year-old Jew from Brooklyn.
Socialist Jew.
Socialist Jew from Brooklyn.
That's my kind of girl boss.
That's my kind of girl boss.
Let's see. Britney Spears being freed.
Yeah, that's a high.
That's a high.
That's cool.
I was stoked. For now.
We'll see.
For now. Like I said before, I hope she uses the freedom for good.
She has.
I mean,
she's releasing new music and she's like doing extra spins in her Instagram videos.
You know what? I don't care what she does with her freedom. The fact that she's free is the good thing. What I'm afraid for is everyone else turning on her, and I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for all the Britney stans to turn on her. She's gonna tweet about phrenology, and that'll be it.
Has anyone interviewed the Leave Britney Alone kid? Whatever happened to him? Remember the YouTube video?
He has been interviewed for Babs Gray and Tess Barker, these two comics who like helped blow open essentially the conservatorship story.
Yeah.
And Babs has been on the show. They
Toxic.
have a podcast called Toxic.
Right.
And they do interview him. He's great. And everyone was like, making fun of him. And now history proved him right.
He was right.
Very good.
Yeah.
Derek Chauvin being found guilty.
That was a high.
Oh,
high.
real high.
That was like one of the rare, like, actual justice boners that I got.
That's like the K2 next to Rush Limbaugh dying.
Exactly.
I'm not done yet. What about Colin Powell dying?
That's fucking war criminal. Yeah.
Up there.
Yeah,
not as much as Rush Limbaugh for me.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like probably higher than Rush Limbaugh, because Rush Limbaugh was just all talk, whereas Colin Powell actually did war crimes.
When did Rumsfeld die? Was it?
Oh, that was this
Hang
year.
on.
Okay.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
Donald Rumsfeld dying. That's a big old high for me.
That was great.
Fuck that guy forever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
I hope he is burning in hell. Which sucks because I know there is no hell.
I know.
So I'm like, I hope he is just now a ghost haunted forever. Have you seen my list of torture techniques?
Okay.
I'm looking for my list of torture.
I have unfinished business. He's just trying to waterboard, but the water just keeps going through people because it's ghost water.
I don't know. Have you ever been at the Vince Lombardi rest stop on the Jersey Turnpike at 3 a.m.? That's
not. You said you'll believe in hell if you go there.
No, that is hell.
That is literally hell.
That's bad. I thought Port Authority in New York was bad, but I guess that beats it.
No. Culver City, DMV.
I love it. Netanyahu out of power.
Yeah, that was a high.
That's
I
a
mean,
good one. Yeah.
yeah.
If he wasn't replaced by someone who was worse, I feel like
It would have been more
it would
of
have
a
been
high.
better.
Yeah.
It was just sort of a transfer of power.
Yep.
Withdrawing from Afghanistan.
Yeah, that was actually a big high. That was one of my biggest highs of the year.
That was one of my biggest highs, despite obviously the images coming out of it.
Right, despite like all the chaos that would have happened no matter what because we invaded a country and overthrew everything.
I'm going to go high and low on this one because high that we're out, but a low, all the fucking liberals, we were just like 5 bombs away from freedom and like what t-shirt contests, you know?
We would have gotten there.
Yeah, that's true. The low was having to deal with the constant analysis from so-called liberals in the media. That was a low. I was an expected
betraying
low.
Afghanistan.
Oh God.
Facebook introducing the metaverse.
High, dude.
Low.
High. That is honestly Mark Zuckerfucky. I am so down for your metaverse. I want to live inside of a universe you create in which vaccines aren't real and fucking all the memes don't make sense. Like living in
like the
Facebook,
world we currently live in.
Yeah, but I want to be inside of it though.
I want to say like Zucky on the hoverboard with the flag. That's like the hate fuck high.
Yes, that was a hate fuck high.
But like how that a high? No, that was a low for me.
Because it's died. So cringy and he's so oblivious as to how cringy it is.
He made something that like I get why he did it on paper. That looks cool. But it's like the fact that he made that look so dorky was incredible. Like that, there's nothing that guy can't ruin.
It's not cool.
It is cool to be. If it were
with a fucking American flag.
Well, listen, it should have been an ISIS flag. Okay. We all can all agree on that.
Similar.
But like, I'm just saying that whatever contraption he was riding, anyone else riding it, if Kelly Slater rode that, you'd be like, that's the coolest guy in the world.
Andrew Yang losing his mayoral race.
That was pretty fucking sick. That was like one of those things where I was like, good going, New York. And I know that like they didn't end up, it's not
Eric
like
Adams is not great.
Of course, they didn't end up like, you know, fucking
we rejected a tech fascist and just got a cop fascist.
Which to me though, like that gave me a little bit of hope, because my big concern with like tech fascists is that they really will be taking everything over. And there's something, it's like the devil in like the cop fascist is less terrifying than the techno fascists that are going to be like cropping up in the next decade. Like those guys are going to be some real fascists. Like I'm talking about like eugenics fascists. Like those guys are going to be fucking scary.
No, it's just going to be Peter Thiel. Like,
yes, Peter Thiel is actually one of the scariest human beings in the world, and like we don't talk about that enough.
Don't look up the tech god.
I just saw that today. Fucking incredible.
Kirsten Sinema voting no on a $15 minimum wage with a curtsy.
Big low. Anything cinema is a low.
Big low.
Throw her to the lions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Seriously.
So bad.
We don't have enough lion throwing.
Trump supporters storming the Capitol on January 6th.
Mixed bag, high and low for me. I'm honest. I'm gonna be totally.
I gotta hear this one.
It was high and low. Okay, so low, obviously, because I was like, this is fucking insane, and like, you know, this is. I mean, I do believe in some of these institutions is like needing to be free from, a giant crowd, a giant mob, right? At the same time, watching what was inevitably going to happen with this like Trump ideology actually like happen, and them using that opportunity to just take selfies and stream, like using that opportunity to do nothing. They didn't do, all they did was do an illegal act, but nothing fucking They didn't do any. They didn't steal the Constitution.
Well, I mean, it's
they
interesting.
Fucking, like
That's because Nick Cage already stole it.
Yeah, but
they didn't know where it was. The thing about January 6th for me that was a little high, it was mostly awful, but a little bit was like like you said, the ultimate you reap what you sow. Like this is exactly what happens when you allow a fascist former celebrity to become president and just fucking run roughshod all over a political establishment that's been inept. This is what happens. You get demagogued when you don't do anything, as Jon Stewart has said. It's like, and yeah, man, this is what it was all leading to. All your fucking bullshit. I mean, and from the liberals, it's like, for the Republicans, it's like, first of all, this is what it was leading to. From liberals, it was like, I don't know, is he that bad? Well, can you do this?
Yeah, right.
Look at it. Like, rub your fucking face in it, knocking on your goddamn door, all, not just Mike Pence, but Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, everybody. And just like, ugh.
There was that guy who stole Pelosi's lectern, not the Constitution, but he was walking off with her lectern.
I know. And obviously, you shouldn't do that.
Waving to the camera.
But I guess what I'm saying is that, like,
we heard you.
Yeah. I don't know. It was awful, but like it wasn't kind of funny to none of you. It wasn't a little funny.
Of course it was funny because it was like, it's like, yeah, this is what happens when you don't clean out the mushrooms growing in the corner of your bathroom.
And like, you watch all of the right wing. You watch all of the right wing, like media figures, politicians, like they unleashed a horde of Facebook fucking boat dads, and they were like, "Oh shit! Oh fuck!"
Yeah. Even Fox News knew it. They were like, "We've gone too far.
Please stop! Please stop!" Like, that is so funny. It is so funny, and thank God that, like, it was minimal casualties. Obviously,
only 5 dead.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what's crazy about not calling the National Guard is that, like, the Secretary of Defense, who, by the way, Trump put in charge only a month or two before January, thinking he would be a loyalist, but he wasn't. So we basically have this guy to save. Was like, I'm not going to deploy the National Guard because they might be sicked on lawmakers, not on the mob. And that's the first time I've been like, oh my God, he's right. Because what I really wanted to see was those fools get tear gassed out of existence and like rubber bulleted or whatever. Or like, yes, one person did lose their life, because that's what fucking happens when you storm the Capitol. Anyway,
I think it was 5.
5 people died. Yes.
Yeah. But you know what? Trump's going to learn from his mistake. And when he takes office in 2024, Jared is going to be the Secretary of Defense.
And he will do a great job. Jared,
will be great.
We're looking forward to your skinny ass, rich looking motherfucking ass, wielding whatever power that you're too scared to wield.
Does he even have
He'll
a bone
never get
structure?
elected for... No,
his bone structure is it's weird because it's like a facsimile of a human skull.
he is Uncanny Valley. Like his face is the Uncanny Valley. All right, we gotta really quick, just yes or no, high or low. Striking workers, like fight for their rights across the country.
I mean, high. Yeah.
Joe Manchin killing Build Back Better.
Low.
Pete Davidson and Kim Kardashian dating.
I don't know who the fuck these people are.
Big high for me.
Low.
No, high.
Low. Bizarre.
Pete Davidson is the exact same. We are both half Irish, half Jewish. We're both comedians. And if it's possible for him, it's possible for all of us.
You want the internet to be like, why do I think Matt Lieb is attractive? The best one was someone was like, Pete Davidson seems like the weed dealer who you feel safe around.
That is true. Yeah. He's the Molly dealer with a heart.
He is.
Yeah.
Christ. Arun Gupta, thank you so much for joining us on the Bitchuation Room. Where can people follow you and find your work?
I'm all over the Twitters and the Facebooks. I write for Raw Story, Intercept, Nation in These Times, Yes Magazine,
And how
Progressive.
can we sign up for your food tours of New York?
You gotta find me. It's through the Facebooks.
Okay.
You know, I'm not advertising. I don't want any goddamn Midwest tourists on my food tours.
Everybody follow Arun on Twitter at Arun Indy, INDY. And thank you so much. We're going to see you in the bonus episode in just 3 minutes. Hey, all right. Later, Arun. And thank you all for being here. Thank you, Matt Lieb. Everybody follow Matt Lieb on Twitter
Follow
at
me.
Matt Lieb and on Instagram at Matt Lieb Jokes.
At Matt Lieb Jokes. I need those Instagram followers. That's all I've ever wanted for Christmas. So go to Instagram and at Matt Lieb Jokes.
Great.
There's pictures and jokes.
All right. And without further ado, including announcing the raffle winner of our merch raffle, getting my favorite books and a big old care package from yours truly. This is the fart song.
Love it.
Thank you to the new patrons at $10 or more, Tanya S. and Mr. K. That really means a lot to me. Everybody, up your Patreon to $10 to get this shout out. It helps support the show.
Yes.
And you get bonus episodes right to your ear and to your eyes. To the big tippers, we have Joseph L. Once again, thank you so much, Joseph. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all the things. Thank you to the super chats, Kathy McIntyre, Gabby Mabs, Narf Vader, Katie Yusha, Captain Pollywog Vanderbeef, Laura Estrada, Ray Turner, aka the Bearded Dragon. You guys are wonderful. And for the raffle winner, Mr. Todd Roy.
Oh.
Todd Roy wins the raffle.
Wow.
One of the longest members of the Frantifa, just a shining bright star. I believe also a moderator on YouTube.
Yeah.
Give it up for Todd Roy. Thank you so much. I'm going to send those out to you, friend. And thank you guys so much for just taking photos of yourself and being adorable. You guys are great. We're going to be back here on next Sunday, January 2nd. We're going to be talking to 3 people who have the podcast Conspirituality, talking about the overlap between the spiritual community, the yoga community, the crystals,
The wellness people.
and the wellness people, and things like QAnon. They've been tracking it for a long time. I've loved their work, so I know you're going to. And thanks, of course, to Ellie Hoffman, our producer, to Maximilian Inhofe, to Alexandra Orness. And as always, fight the power, fuck the patriarchy, and don't just bitch about it. Be about it. We'll see you in the new year.